Hello, I'm the man in black. I thought I'd wear my judge's robe, my judge's dress. Anyway, this is about News Now Patrick and the Ennis Police Sergeant Sherman Swafford. Okay, I'm going to put a link in here that will just give you a tiny insight into this man's shenanigans and long term wrongdoing. Okay, I'll let you be the judge of this. But let me just tell you that there are other law enforcement officers in this area of Texas that I know that personally know this man. And they know his shenanigans and his conduct and his bad behavior for years on end. He's one of those cops that have slipped through the cracks repeatedly over and over. And it's been reported that the FBI has already done an investigation on him one time. And when you have a local small town policeman and the FBI comes and investigates him, it's usually pretty serious. How he still has a license with the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement Officer Standards in Education, which they now call TCO, Texas Commission on Law Enforcement. They changed the name, but I'm old school and I still call it TCLOS from years ago, just a habit. But anyway, it appears over in Ferris, Texas, where he was a lieutenant, that him and the chief of police was misusing the reserve police officers fund. So they was operating as a private security company, which is illegal in Texas, and they were getting funds into it and paying cash out of it, which means they were not paying social security funds in and they were not paying income tax in, and they were using the benefit of their badge and they were misusing their badge, which is unethical, immoral, and a criminal act in Texas. So how him and the chief of police are not in a Texas State Penitentiary still is beyond me. He was a lieutenant over there in Ferris. Okay, he and the chief of police were suspended. I'm still doing an investigation on that right now, but this, and I've looked up several things on Google, and I've had many sources that's telling me many things, and several of these officers have been talking to Patrick personally to give them their feedback. Some of them's retired, some of them's active, but they believe in his First Amendment to audit into video, and they like him personally, and they believe in what he's doing, so they give him a lot of information firsthand. I mean, they call him on the phone, text him, see him out in the street, pass him a note, pass him a letter. So there's a lot of us that believe in what he's doing. Now, sometimes his methods are aggressive. He's a high-strung young guy, and, we caution him to, tone it down just a little bit because we're afraid they're going to hook him up. Okay? Now, I have personally talked to the DA's office, and it is my impression, it is my conclusion that I'm being told it's a nothing burger. Okay? And especially this is conclusion. I'm taking that along with they're aware of his shenanigans, his long-term wrongdoing, his credibility issues, and should this ever go forward, then not a jury trial, but a trial by jury, which is a separate thing in Texas, a trial by jury versus jury trial, then he would get a trial by jury of 12 of his peers. And then all the back history of this unlawful conduct of this Sergeant Sherman Swafford in Ennis would come out. Any FBI investigations, T-close investigations, anything the Texas Rangers have investigated, citizen complaints. He has such a shady history. Not putting security guards down, but usually a lot of security guards are people that can't actually make it as police. But some of them could be a chief of police. They're just exceptional, but that's the 10%, 90% usually don't have what it takes. Now, that don't mean they're bad people. It just means that they don't have the aptitude and ability to move up. I wouldn't let him be a security guard's security guard. He seems to have no morals, no ethics. He has impulse control issues. He may even have mental issues. I don't know why the man possesses a firearm, to be honest. And he did blind Patrick, and that's a fact. Patrick, according to his own testimony to me, is still having eye problems, okay? And they failed to render medical aid. And then when he called for it, they arrested him for calling for medical aid, and they still refused it. I know that for approximately 6 hours or more, he was incarcerated, and they wouldn't even give him no water to hydrate his body. So he was becoming dehydrated. And anybody that knows anything about the eyes require a lot of hydration or your eyes can deteriorate. Okay, I'm not an ophthalmologist, I'm not an attorney, and I'm not a judge. But being 40 years in law enforcement, having successfully retired multiple times, I know a lot about psychology and the human body because I've studied with a lot of doctors, I've studied with a lot of lawyers and judges. So a lot of these things I know from having been explained to me in firsthand personal knowledge. So I'm saying Patrick, I believe he's golden. That sergeant, he's going to have to look for probably a new FBI investigation through the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division because once this is over, I personally will probably pursue that. Uh, and I'm sure Patrick will cooperate with them. So once this is over, I'm probably going to pursue that because uh, I see that this Sergeant Sherman Swafford is a menace to society. He has no business having a badge. This is my editorial opinion as a news organization reporting to the public. Okay, so I'm going to put that link in there, and y'all go read this article. And there's all kind of crazy things. Some things are published, some things are unpublished. But I got sources, and they're going to give me some more intelligence on this man. And then there's a lot of more. Uh, One publisher in the area put it to me this way: current Sergeant Sherman Swafford of the Ennis Police Department in Ennis, Texas, is a loose cannon, but they help sell papers because he's such a loose cannon and he is the commodity that just keeps giving and giving and giving and giving, if you know what I mean. Okay? So, give your love, give your support to News Now Patrick. And Pat, thank you for giving me a shout out. And thank you for asking people to come check me out over here and subscribe. I really appreciate that a lot. And if you can support me, my PayPal is account information will be in the link. And then also, I just started a Patreon if you'd help me out over there. And I'll probably do a more in-depth analysis within the next week on this Sergeant Sherman Swafford, Ennis, Texas Police Department. And this is a news story. And this is of great public interest. Great public interest. Okay? So we're like WFAA TV in Dallas or KDFW or anybody else that's a news reporting organization. I am a news reporting organization. I am also sponsored by the Sovereign Church of Jesus. So I say this under my First Amendment rights. I say this under my religious rights, and I say this under a publisher's rights as an editorial and information that is needed by the public about a wrongdoing. So any attempt to take this down or flag it or whatever will be dealt with in the harshest manner in the state and federal courts, violating my rights. Okay? Thank you. God bless you, and have a super great Jesus Day. And if you happen to see this, Sergeant Swafford, you know you're wrong. You need to apologize to this young man, beg his mercy, turn in your badge, resign, and go home before you wind up going to jail. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you. Bye-bye.